right, it is the last day of the month, a Friday close. Half of the year is going to be closed. We're heading into a long weekend. Well, some people have a long weekend. So we're going to talk about these charging standard wars and Costco. Seems like a rare combination for a Friday, but it'll all make sense. We have special guest Todd Caputo in the studio, or his studio today. Todd, good morning.
Morning, Paul. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
It's good to see you too. Good to see you too. You got some new lighting on that picture behind you.
Yeah, you recommended it, so I did what you told me to do.
Well, I wasn't trying to get a compliment there. Your store, your store, it was so cool. So Todd crafted this used car store experience that had all this vintage, like these vintage photos, and it just had such an energy to it. You just always had a good taste for that. And you're one of the guys in the car industry that's an actual car guy.
I love cars.
Right, like an enthusiast, not just a car guy, but like a car guy.
I might love cars more than I like people, but I'm not sure.
I think you might love cars more than you like people, but I think you still love people more than you love cars.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. But
all right.
I do have a passion for cars, you know that.
We have an all-out comment war going on. I'm just going to pivot through these because now it's a thing where everyone tries to get the first comment on the show. If you're listening to the podcast, there's also a live stream in the morning, and LinkedIn seems to be where it's all going down. It's good to see you, Jordan, Russell, Adrian, Brian. Man, everybody's just showing up for some fun. We're going to give you a nice quick show today. We want to make sure that you know, though, that ASOTU Con is coming in hot. Today is the very, very last day to get the cheapest ASOTU Con ticket. Prices go up, and then they're going to ratchet up as we get closer. You can go to ASOTUCon.com and get the cheapest ticket you can get. Today is the last day. Prices go up on the 1st, which is tomorrow. And we're about to release probably a list of about 25 speakers that are confirmed. And we're talking about publicly traded groups. We're talking about people that you see on TV that you want to see in person. We got Jesse Cole, the owner of the Savannah Bananas, is going to be our main keynote. So first round of speaker announcements coming next week. So
I can't wait. I mean,
you're one of them.
Like when you talk about, there's a lot of conferences, there's tons of them, and you can get conference to death if you want to in this business.
Easy.
But that event you put on last year in Philly it was really cool. It was different. In the social aspect of it, and the group of people that come is amazing that you're able to get together. So I'm looking forward to Baltimore this year for sure. And I think anybody that wants to spend a little bit of time and meet some great people and just not go to a typical conference should definitely consider going, because I think it's going to be awesome.
I'm glad you mentioned the city. Baltimore, it's only about 5 minutes from the airport. We wanted to keep it convenient so you don't have that terrible 1 hour commute in a big city somewhere. Land at the airport. 5 minutes later, you're in the venue, September 26th and 27th. So put that on your calendar. All right, let's talk about some news. So we're going to follow up on a few things. I think you're the perfect guest host for today because we're going to talk about the charging standard, and you own a Tesla EV or a couple of them. So here's the story. As the mass adoption of Tesla's NACS, which is North American Charging Standard, has been dominating the news, the transition might not be just as simple as we think. So yesterday, a couple more people added to the list. Polestar adopted the standard, and the first only EV motorcycle manufacturer, Verge Motorcycles, which are real cool, by the way, they announced their shift to the Tesla standard. And then Electrify America, which is a majority, Volkswagen owns a majority of this company. It was basically kind of their penance from Dieselgate. They put this big charging network up. They announced that they're going to now include the NACS standard, all of their superchargers, which is about 3,500 currently. They're going to change all those over to superchargers by 2025. Still going to have the current CCS standard available as well. Now, here are the challenges. So there's your great automotive news article today talking about the things maybe we aren't thinking of that make it a little more complex than just okay, we'll just put the adapter on the end. It's not like a cell phone. So challenges, software development on the vehicle. They need to be able to talk to one another, because if you've never been to a Tesla supercharger, they don't have a screen or an interface. It just automatically connects with the car and the handshake when you plug it in and your app. So you got to be able to pay for it and know what's charging. All Tesla charging ports in all their vehicles on the left rear of the vehicle. They're designed that way for uniformity. So when you back into a Tesla supercharger, everyone can back in a line. Well, as you may know, that's not the case. Some chargers are in the front grille. They could be on the opposite side of the vehicle across other manufacturers, leading to some at the current rate would have to take up 2 spaces in order to charge, which is going to obviously cause some problems, maybe even some fights. The pins are different in the plug. So even though the adapter might look the same, the pins are a little bit different. And, thinking of all of those considerations, that leads to manufacturing changes potentially with all these cars to route ports to the different side, to stamp parts a different way. So, a lot of different problems. Tesla released a statement, and then Todd, I want to get your opinion. Tesla's statement said, "It's always been our ambition to open the Supercharger network to non-Tesla EVs, and by doing so, encourage more drivers to go electric. More customers using the Supercharger network enables faster expansion. Our goal is to learn and iterate quickly while continually and aggressively expanding the network, so we eventually welcome both Tesla and non-Tesla drivers to Superchargers worldwide." Todd, did you think about these questions when Ford announced they were going to be able to charge, and then, like on and on and on?
Here's what, I think about. It's not about the plug, and it's not about where it is. It's about how long it takes to actually charge your car. And in order for these things to be adopted in mass, they got to charge really, really fast. Like, they need to charge as fast as it takes to go to the gas station and pump your own gas. You can pump your own gas in a very short period of time. I don't know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yep.
You think people are going to line up and wait 20 minutes, a half an hour, and there's going to be lines and lines of people? It's not going to happen. It just won't happen. That's number one. I think number two, I've been reading some stuff that Steve Greenfield has been publishing recently about, the technology changes. Every year, the technology is going to get better and better with these EVs, and you're going to have cars that have longer range, that probably charge faster, right, and operate just more efficiently and have better features. These used EVs may depreciate a lot faster if they don't have updated technology, because they're almost going to be obsolete. Does that make sense?
Wow, it does.
I mean, any car, like it does. You can take and drive a 30 or 40 or 50 or 80-year-old car, right? I do. I got old cars. I can just go to the gas station and pump it up and leave, right? And pump up gas. But if you've got a car that won't charge necessarily as fast as a late model one, I don't think it's going to be worth as much. So it's the speed of what it takes to actually charge these EVs, which I think is the key. Can they build charging stations all over? Yes. Can they make a longer cord if the port's in the front or in the grill or in the left front fender or whatever? Yeah, I mean, that's the
very
easy
practical.
part. Can they figure out the software? Of course, they can figure out the software so it interacts with Tesla's network. That's not a problem. But I think the key to mass adoption with these things is they got to be able to charge faster. They're not going to be, they won't be mass consumption until then.
Yeah, I think it did mention something about that in the article about there are some vehicles that take power faster than a Tesla. Like, I think the Polestars will take power faster, and the Supercharger will actually limit the actual capability of the vehicle. So that's a great point to make. And yeah, like, think of the issue the used car market's going to be facing in 3 or 4 years from now, when they start to figure this stuff out and they change the standard, and all of a sudden everything that's the new standard won't go as fast as the old standard. It's gonna, it'll create a thing.
Look at what NADA said the other day about the day's supply of new EVs in the market. I'm going to say 90 days, I think it was.
Yeah, they said it's above ice. Yeah.
And if you look at the day's supply of used EVs, especially Teslas in most markets, it's creeping up there, right? People are getting their taste. And I think at the end of the day, most people, depending on where they live, are going to have range anxiety. And there needs to be a lot more of these chargers. And then think about what about the grid, right? Just think about.
Oh, I've been thinking about that. I brought that up on the show yesterday. It's like, we can't put the air conditioners on right now because it's too hot.
Yeah, so it's got a long way to go, and I don't think that these gas powered cars are going to go away anytime soon. I just don't.
There you go. Well, speaking of, I don't know. We're gonna go back to your comment about range anxiety. Speaking of anxiety,
stop.
Need to segue something. Okay, so Costco has intensified its enforcement of its membership policy, with employees now asking to see shoppers' membership IDs with their photo on it at the self-checkout lanes, drawing both cheers and jeers. So basically, when the company opened their self-checkout lines in the stores, they noticed an increase in card sharing, and it's like Netflix password sharing. Basically, you give a friend a card, they go in and get all the benefits of a membership. So what you may not know about Costco's business model is they sell their products on such a thin margin. The only profit they actually make as a company is from membership fees. Chief Financial Officer Richard Galanti said during Costco's May 25th earnings call that at some point we'll raise rates on the membership. but inflation is a reason that we're waiting. He said, our view right now is we have enough levers out there to drive business, and we feel it's incumbent upon us to be a beacon of light to our members in terms of holding the membership fees down for now. And so one of those levers is obviously they're going to enforce the membership requirement a little bit tighter. One shopper says, I'll pay extra to shop somewhere to get good prices. And she said, it's not fair to have multiple people using one membership card, because if you know Costco, like they do sell out of items. She's like, and now these non-members that aren't paying are getting the item that I wanted to buy. Some other people said, it causes anxiety now that I feel like I'm getting kind of policed at the checkout lane. And so, Todd, I know you have a Costco membership. I don't know how often you go. I've noticed, I don't mind because I like following that rule because that's how they make their system work. But what's your thought on, like, is it worth hassling your members to enforce, the non-members?
I mean, I don't know. First of all, I hate shopping, right? I hate going to stores. I dread it. Amy goes, my wife, she goes to Costco and I just, at the end of the day, they can say that they only make money on membership fees, but I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I find that very hard to believe.
No, it's their profit. Their profit. They run on like a 1 to 2% margin. And when you look at their membership count, it's billions and billions on the membership fee. That's just how they've structured the business. That is like kind of business case study.
So from a membership standpoint, I feel like if you have to be a member to shop there, then you should just pay for it. Right. I think it's dishonest to use somebody else's card to get in there and shop. So I guess I can understand why people that are members, feel that way. And what does it cost for a membership for a year? I don't even know.
$60 a year.
I mean, come on, $60 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, people should just pay.
And actually, if you get the Costco credit card, you make way more than that back in like the refunds they give you. One of the things Costco has been so known for is their return policy, which is one of the reasons they need the extra margin, and they allocate like their sales margins toward that, because you can return anything at any time for any reason. They will literally take it back. I saw plants. I saw like a stack of trees that was returned. They were never taken out of the pot. Somebody probably just left them out and didn't water them, and they were returned. They'll take that back. 2 years later, something breaks, they'll take that back. And so, I'm a big fan of Costco. My family shops there a lot, and like, hey, systems don't work when you don't follow the rules, which is why Netflix cracked down too on password sharing.
Sort of. I think people still found it. I
don't have Netflix anymore. I find my way the other ways.
I think that all the rules, right? I mean, it's $60. I mean, $60 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, if you can afford to shop at Costco on a weekly basis, you can afford the $60.
John Roper comments, needed this ! I'll stop letting the non-members use my card. No, John, you don't need to do that. You just need to get them a disguise so they look like the picture on the membership card when they go through. Well, that's a show for today. We're about to head into the All Things Used Car with David Long Clubhouse room. Go to Clubhouse, search it up. We'll be over there jamming on used cars. Until then, have a great weekend, and welcome to July tomorrow.
Leave the right.